The offseason is now well and truly underway, and the majority of the major free agency moves have occurred by now. During the past week, ever since trades were allowed to be made on November 16th, there has been one team in particular dominating the offseason and making a lot of fantastic moves to benefit their franchise. That team is the Philadelphia 76ers, and right now, they are setting themselves up perfectly to be back in the title contention conversation in 2021. So, in today's video, I'm going to be looking at the moves the Philadelphia 76ers have made so far this offseason, and why I believe they will allow them to break out in 2021 and help them reach their full potential. Before we start, if you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this. I'm trying to hit 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that being said, let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. The big problem for the Philadelphia 76ers in 2020, and the biggest reason why they disappointed us, was because of their lack of fit and spacing around their superstar duo in Embiid and Simmons. Whilst the two stars have shown flashes of brilliance together, their playstyles clashed, and this was mainly due to the supporting cast not being ideal for their skill assets. Neither Simmons or Embiid are elite shooters, and for their game styles to be capitalized, they need plenty of spacing around them to give them the freedom they need with the ball. So having guys like Al Horford clogging up the lane was not ideal at all. However, the 76ers have been able to turn that around this offseason seemingly, at least on paper. So let's take a look at some of the moves they've made and how I personally believe it improves their team. The first big reason why the 76ers have been able to turn things around is thanks to the addition of Daryl Morey as the team's new general manager. His impact has been made note of in just a few days this offseason. He's doing a fantastic job providing Simmons and Embiid with the spacing they need to succeed. The trades and signings he's made thus far have been elite and help out Philadelphia a lot, so his inclusion to the staff has arguably been the Sixers' biggest win this offseason. Now let's look at the player additions the 76ers have made this offseason. The first two they made involved Danny Green and Seth Curry, trading away Al Horford and Josh Richardson respectively for them. These are elite additions to the 76ers roster. As I've already mentioned a bunch of times today, the Sixers have been lacking spacing, and it's hindered this team's ability to perform to its fullest potential. With these guys, that should no longer happen to a degree. Both are elite shooters. Seth Curry just shot over 45% from deep last season on 5 attempts per game from downtown, which is just ridiculous, and Green shot a solid 37% as well, but has shot well above 40% many times before in his career. On the note of Green quickly, many people are undermining his addition to the 76ers squad due to his struggles in the playoffs, but getting him is a lot better than what people are making it out to be. Green did struggle in the playoffs, no doubt, but he was playing with an Achilles injury, and before it was a core player to the Lakers' championship success. He's one of the best 3-and-D role players in the league, and his talent should not be understated. The impact these guys will make to Philadelphia is huge. Ben Simmons assisted on the most 3-pointers last season, and that was with one of the worst spacing teams in the league and an extremely average 3-point shooting team overall. With two of the best shooting role players the league has to offer, Simmons' improvement will be tremendous next season. Another impact these two will make will be benefiting Joel Embiid. Embiid will now find it a lot easier to make room in the lane, as you simply can't just double team him now and afford to leave a guy like Green or Curry open. They will make you pay for that. Who knows how many shots Green and Curry will get per game, but their presence alone is going to make a huge positive difference on how Simmons and Embiid play, which will be vital to this team's success. Overall, I've made myself pretty clear that these are perfect pickups for the 76ers and help them out a lot in search for their first finals appearance in this trust the process era. Another solid pickup by the 76ers was Dwight Howard, and I'm again a big fan of this signing by Philly. Bringing Dwight in gives the 76ers another dominant interior big man who can become a solid backup for Embiid. If Dwight can continue to play the role he had on the Lakers last season, he is bound to have similar success in Philadelphia. His defense will be incredibly important to the second unit, something Philly lacked last season, and his intensity on both ends will make him dangerous. He isn't that versatile offensively, so he probably won't get that many minutes, but again, his importance to this team is his defense and overall intensity he brings on the glass. I can get the 76ers a few cheeky second chance buckets when Embiid is off the floor. Again, a great pickup here for Philadelphia. The final notable move Philadelphia has done this offseason is select Tyrese Maxey in the NBA draft. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the class of 2020 and could find himself getting a fair few minutes in Doc Rivers' system with that ability. He was a good value pickup for the Sixers in the draft and honestly fits the mold and culture of this team really nicely. I'm not a huge draft expert, but from what I know, Maxey is a fantastic selection for Philadelphia and can develop into something really nice, I believe. So those are all the pickups for the 76ers this offseason. Before we look at how good I believe they'll be after these additions, let's take a look at the couple of notable players they've gotten rid of this offseason and why I personally believe they were very smart in making these dump-offs. Firstly, getting rid of Al Horford's contract is great. They dump his huge contract that was becoming a major burden on the franchise, and they've been able to replace him with someone who fits the team way better. Horford was a shocking fit alongside Embiid, and it can be seen in the numbers as he shot horrifically when they shared the court together, limiting his role and overall causing frustration. I think Horford can become a good player again in OKC, but Philadelphia certainly was not the place for him, so to move him on is elite in my view for the 76ers. As for Josh Richardson, he also wasn't a great fit, so to replace him also with an elite shooter they desperately needed in Curry was a great move on behalf of the franchise. Richardson wasn't terrible for Philadelphia last season, but he's clearly more needed in Dallas, and Curry is clearly more needed in Philadelphia, so overall, that trade made sense for both sides a lot. In the end, I doubt the Sixers will miss Horford or Richardson that much, and with them gone, they can make progress towards the dream of an NBA championship. With that all being said though, how good will the Philadelphia 76ers be next season? I can definitely see them becoming a top 3 or 4 seed in the East by the end of the season, and in my eyes, they have the potential to push it to the Eastern Conference Finals once the playoffs show up. In talks of teams I think they're better than, on paper, I'd say they're better than the Pacers, Raptors, and Hawks quite comfortably, then around the same talent level as say the Heat and Celtics. The only 2 teams I'd heavily favor over them right now is Milwaukee and Brooklyn, but even then, those teams have had pretty lackluster off seasons, so I can see the argument for them beating them in a 7-game series too. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, and I definitely don't want to say this team is the best in the East, but they are definitely a great shot at going deep into the playoffs next season, and are a much better chance of doing so than they were this past season. Overall, these are my thoughts on the Philadelphia 76ers. After their great moves so far this offseason, including acquiring the Deadeye shooters in Curry and Green, and improving their staff by getting general manager Daryl Morey and coach Doc Rivers, they have put themselves in a perfect position to contend. Not only does this team have the talent on paper, the players also seem to mesh a lot better in a system than they did last season, which was a huge problem for them in 2020. If I had to predict anything, I'd definitely say they're a top 4 team in the East next season at bare minimum, and anything less than a second round exit would probably be a disappointment. The process has been going on for a bit too long now, and Philadelphia fans are expecting a lot of success. Last year was horrid for them, but luckily they've made some fantastic improvements over the past week or so. I wouldn't call them favourites at all right now, but they are contenders for sure. The Philadelphia 76ers have to be one of the biggest winners of the 2020 offseason so far, and I'm looking forward to the development of their star duo in Simmons and Embiid come 2021. It's going to be a fun team to watch, for sure. And that will conclude the video. What do you guys think of this? How good are the 76ers now to you? Where will they finish in the Eastern Conference standings next season? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.